Mr. Cooper.
You got two of them, stragglers.
If you guys will come on, we'll get started.
Yeah, it's immediately after the first meeting.
Immediately after the,
6:30 or 6 or
absolutely. Unless you guys just would like to stay a long time. I don't think is the case. I'll call this meeting of the Stevens Plantation Improvement Project, DSD Governing Board, to order for Thursday, December the 5th. With that, could we please have the roll call?
Chairman Blackwell,
Here.
Vice Chairman Matheny,
Absent.
Member Cooper,
Here?
Member Askew,
Here.
Member Trace.
Here. The first item is resolution. Would you please read?
Resolution number 2019-006R, a resolution of the Board of the Stevens Plantation Improvement Project Dependent Special District approving and accepting an agreement to sell approximately 142 acres of vacant real property known as Stevens North Parcel to Equity Investments LLC for $4,500,000, and authorizing the chairman or in his absence, the vice chairman to execute the agreement and all documents necessary to complete the sale.
Thank you. Mr. Mazeres.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Chairman, whatever we're going to call you tonight. I don't know if we have a slide you want to put up there, but I'll just introduce the item real quick. This is obviously is the agreement that we talked about at the last DSD meeting for the sale of the Stevens North piece to Equity Investments. As you can see, the purchase price is $4,500,000. There is the agreement that's before you provides for initial deposit of $25,000 and then a subsequent deposit upon the expiration of the inspection period of $175,000 for a total of $200,000 in deposits on this contract. There are two contingencies associated with this. There's an inspection period of 90 days, but there's also two contingencies associated, two main contingencies. One is the approval by the City Council of a conceptual master plan or concept plan as will be presented by the buyer, and also the approval of the City Council of a mobility fee credit agreement related to the road connection between Budinger and Canoe Creek Road. So those are the two major contingencies. When those contingencies are completed consistent with or after the 90-day inspection period, the sale would close within 15 days after that. That's generally the agreement how it's presented. You've heard a lot about this project. The city staff is recommending that we move forward with it and with the agreement as presented. You were provided a copy of the version of the agreement, I think, on Monday or Tuesday this week, and we apologize for the delay, but we've been a little late in the provision, but we've been trying to work this through. As you know, it's been extremely important for staff to get this moving forward as quickly as possible so that we can hopefully, with the time frame in place, look at a potential closing, if everything goes the way we think, somewhere in March maybe of 2020. So that's why we've been sort of trying to move it forward as quickly as we possibly can. We've had several meetings with the prospective buyer just about every day. At least we've talked on the phone. We had a meeting today, and they've been working with staff, and we think they're ready to go so we can move forward. We have provided to you essentially slip sheets of 5 pages or so that show some red line. These are changes to the version of the agreement that was provided to you. So they're in front of you. They're fairly, most of them are some minor changes, sort of lawyer ease that we've worked with the attorney for the buyer on, so they're reflected in that. There is a significant change related to the mobility fee agreement. Staff, obviously, that's one of the contingencies that's vitally important for the closing on this. So we wanted to make sure that the buyer and the city were working hard to get that mobility fee agreement in place. So we've added some language in, and the buyers agreed to this, that they will work or submit their mobility fee agreement to the city for review and possible consideration by January 15th of 2020. Again, staff is working on this with the buyer, and so we think that timeframe is a good timeframe, and we fully anticipate that we should be at a point where that mobility fee agreement will be considered by the city council, hopefully by the second meeting in January, so that we can have that in place. That would be the goal, maybe sooner, depending on what happens in the next couple of weeks. So that's the one change that's being offered to the agreement. Really, the other ones are sort of minor changes that were necessitated by just some language and changes by the attorneys that were working on it with our office. And so we're asking that this DSD board approve this agreement with the changes that are offered in those pages that we submitted. And that's what staff's recommendation is tonight. I would point out to you one just for this is obviously, as you all know, this is part of, for the sale of this property and including the property that's owned by the city. It's a two-step process. The second piece of this is the contract between the city of St. Cloud and Equity related to the 51 acres that's owned by the city. We are working to have that on the city council agenda on December 12th so that you can approve it. And these agreements are basically contingent upon each other. So the way this is written, if you approve the agreement tonight as the DSD board and then sitting as a city council, you elect not to approve that agreement, then this agreement goes away. So they're contingent upon each other. So, but again, it's staff recommending we approve it as presented with those changes.
Thank you. Is the buyer here wanting to speak tonight? Would anyone in the audience like to speak to this issue, this resolution? If not, we'll have discussion and motion by the board.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
is the hard money is, what, 30 days, I think it was, or?
Well, it's after the full hard money, the way it would work is that after the expiration of the 90, of the
It's still
inspection
there.
period, it's still there. But it's hard with the exception of to those two main contingencies that I talked about. So the buyer would still, if the concept plan and the mobility fee agreement are not, we don't reach those, then the deposit wouldn't go hard. They'd have an
We
option.
didn't kick the football a little further down. It's where it
No,
originally was.
we've worked very hard to
Everything's
keep on a time frame. Remember?
Same time frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure the buyer would tell you if he got the microphone, we've been pushing that 90-day inspection period with a 15-day closing. And they've agreed to that, but of course, rationally and reasonably, they want those are important contingencies to their project, so they need to make sure those are in place before they commit their dollars.
Councilman Trace.
I appreciate the putting a date in for submitting the mobility fee agreement, but do we have a estimated date on when the site plan will get submitted as well? To where we can make sure that pushes along?
I'm sorry? December 16th. Yeah, and Mr. Trace, that's a good question. We didn't, when we were drafting this agreement, we really didn't talk about it because we knew that the buyer was already working far down the road with staff on that particular issue. So we anticipated that it would be submitted well before the mobility fee agreement was even done.
And then will the city land contract be for 90 days or 83 days or something because it's approved? Or it'll be
Well,
on next
the way
week's
the way it works, the effective date of this agreement would actually be the effective date of the city contract.
Okay.
So the 90-day period won't start, again, because it's all or nothing. The 90-day period will not start until until the second contract is approved. And if you like, when we bring back the contract, we can talk to the buyer about putting in a date for submission of the application for the concept plan. I'm sure they can figure out a date that they can live with based on what they're doing.
Okay,
We
thank
can
you.
put that in the city contract.
All right.
Have anything else? Anyone else? Do I have a motion for the approval of this resolution?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Councilmember Askew. Do I have a second?
As amended?
As amended with the,
With
as
the-
amended here and with the site plan date?
Yeah, well, no, would just,
With these.
With the amendments that
Strike
are,
through.
we have
Yes.
before us. Yes.
all right, second?
Madam Clerk, we call the roll.
Member Cooper?
I have to stay where I'm at, no.
Member Askew?
Aye.
Member Trace?
Aye.
Chairman Blackwell.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-1.
Item number 3.
Resolution number 2019-007R, a resolution of the Board of the Stevens Plantation Improvement Project Dependent Special District approving and accepting an agreement to sell Tract 8A of the Stevens Plantation Corporate Campus, approximately 3.31 acres of real property to Highmark Development LLC for $612,000, and authorizing the chairman and his absence, the vice chairman, to execute the agreement and all documents necessary to complete the sale.
And I'll introduce this item
Gonzalez.
and just explain to you what we would ask for the board to consider tonight. This is, if you might recall, it was the last meeting, maybe the meeting before that, we presented to a letter of intent we received from Highmark Development regarding this Tract 8A. We drafted the agreement that's before you in response to this board's direction that they'd like to move forward with that for a, I believe it is an assisted living facility, or is it just an assisted living facility? For the particular use of an assisted living facility on this 3.31 acres at the corporate campus. We drafted the agreement, we provided the agreement that's in front of you to the buyer. The buyer has been reviewing the item. They have not, as of today, committed to approving that agreement. We thought they would by tonight, but we provided some additional information. Through our real estate broker, Veronica Malolas, they've expressed would like to do some review of the issues related to the landfill, which is obviously near this property. We've provided them copies of the Phase 1 studies that were done on the property when the DSD acquired it back in 2003. So they have all the information and determination. But what we don't have for you tonight is a confirmation that they are agreeing to move forward. So there's two ways we can handle it. It was put on the agenda because we thought they might vote on it. They might be willing to move forward. We don't have confirmation that they are. So we can either not take action on it tonight and move it forward to a future meeting, or this board could approve it the way it is, send it to the buyer and tell the buyer it's approved. If you want to approve it, then fine. If you want to change it, we can bring it back at another meeting if they're interested. The purchase price, the timing, pretty much everything is consistent with their letter of intent. So I'm pretty confident that they would accept the agreement because it follows the terms of their letter of intent. So that would be our recommendation, is that this board just approve the agreement the way it is. If it needs to be revised or changed, we can come back. If the buyer signs it, then we've got another contract in place to try to get this property sold.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak to this item? Discussion or motion by council? Or board? Yes, Mr. Trace.
I appreciate you made the extensions non-applicable. Thank you. I'm fine with it. It matches kind of what we had at the last meeting, so I'd make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-007R.
We have a motion from Councilmember Trace,
Second.
second from Mr. Askew. Madam Clerk?
Member Cooper?
Aye.
Member Askew?
Aye.
Member Trace?
Aye.
Chairman Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Seeing there's no other business to come before us, we are adjourned.
Thank you.